Welcome back today. We're diving deep into all of the most fascinating and rare Jefferson Nickels ever struck. All coins have extraordinary stories behind them. And while they might look ordinary or even rusty in your hand, their true value in today's collector market can reach into the hundreds of thousands of dollars under the right conditions. First up, the 1945 United States Monticello, 5 cents. Jefferson nickel with the large date and the S large mint mark. This coin is one of the final wartime nickels ever produced under special conditions by the United States Mint. During World War II, the U.S. government needed to save nickel metal for military purposes, as it was a vital component used in armor plating and machinery. To compensate, the Mint changed the composition of the Jefferson nickel between 1942 and 1945, producing what collectors call the Silver War nickels. These coins were made from 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese, a unique alloy that gave them a slightly different color and texture compared to regular nickels. Because of the silver content, these coins aged differently, and many that survive today show signs of tarnish, oxidation, or rust-like corrosion, especially those kept in humid or unstable conditions. The 1945 S nickel was minted in San Francisco, and this is where things get fascinating. The S mint mark was placed above the Monticello dome on the reverse side of the coin, and it's quite large, making it easy to identify. The obverse of the coin features the iconic left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag, who won the Mint's competition in 1938. His design has endured for decades, though in later years, the Mint made modifications for sharper detail. The 1945 S edition has a soft, almost ghostly texture due to the silver alloy used and in circulated old rusty condition. It carries an incredible sense of history, a small, tangible artifact of America's wartime economy. Now let's talk about the mintage. In total, around 58,939,000 pieces of the 1945 S Jefferson nickel were struck. That might sound like a lot, but over the decades, countless examples have been lost, melted down for their silver content, or damaged beyond recognition. Finding one today in a clean circulated condition is common, but locating a high-grade example, especially one with clear details, no heavy wear, and an intact mint mark, can be exceptionally rare. Add in any kind of striking error, such as a double die, lamination crack, or planchet flaw, and you could be holding a coin worth an unbelievable amount of money. At modern coin auctions, collectors have shown an increasing appetite for wartime nickels in unique conditions. A 1945 entrance Jefferson nickel with full steps on the Monticello, meaning the stairs are sharply defined and fully visible, can easily fetch thousands of dollars in mint state. However, some extraordinary specimens have broken price records due to historical significance, rarity, and collector demand. A pristine 1945 S with near-perfect luster once sold for over $20,000, but when unique error types are factored in, such as misstruck or double-die varieties, values can skyrocket. In recent years, circulated examples in poor or rusty condition have still attracted bids over $500 to $1,000 from enthusiastic collectors. But the most stunning fact is that ultra-rare 1945 S error strikes, authenticated and graded by major grading companies, have achieved prices in excess of $400,000 in private auctions, especially when they display both a strong double-die obverse and a full-step reverse. Collectors love this coin not just for its monetary value, but also for what it represents: the end of an era. The 1945 S marks the final year of the wartime silver-nickel production, after which the Mint returned to its standard copper-nickel alloy. Every 1945 S you find is a piece of living history, a coin that circulated during one of the most intense moments of the 20th century. The Jefferson design, the Monticello reverse, and the large S mint mark all combine to make this coin highly collectible. Even those that appear heavily worn or rusted are sought after, as long as their key features are still visible. The large mint mark above the dome is a giveaway that you're looking at silver content. And for some collectors, the more war-worn and aged the coin appears, the more character it holds. One thing that continues to fascinate numismatists is how this coin's value has surged in recent years. The market for classic U.S. coins, particularly silver-based issues, has exploded, driven by both new collectors and experienced investors. As silver prices rise and nostalgia for mid-20th century coins grows, the Jefferson Wartime series stands out as one of the most historically significant and potentially profitable areas of collecting. Experts believe that unique 1945 S nickels featuring die cracks, off-center strikes, or unusual toning could become future auction stars, reaching beyond 500,000 or even higher in rare cases. So, if you come across an old, tarnished 1945 Jefferson nickel in your change jar, don't overlook it. What seems like an old, rusty coin could actually be a silent treasure worth more than a luxury car. Next up, the 1943 United States Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel with a large date and a P large mint mark. This coin also belongs to the famous Wartime series, and it's one of the first U.S. nickels ever to carry the P mint mark, representing the Philadelphia Mint. Prior to this period, Philadelphia did not place a mint mark on its coins, but during the war, the Mint added the large P above Monticello to help identify the silver alloy coins from regular nickels in circulation. This makes the 1943 P Jefferson nickel not only historically significant, but also the first of its kind in many ways. The 1943 P Jefferson nickel is composed of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, like its 1945 counterpart. The silver composition means these coins are susceptible to oxidation, and many surviving examples have developed a distinctive gray, black, or greenish patina, especially those that have spent decades in storage or circulation. In circulated, old, rusty condition, this coin may not look valuable at first glance, but beneath that dull surface lies a remarkable combination of history, rarity, and collector passion. Let's start with its design. The obverse again features the left-facing bust of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag. His depiction of Jefferson has long been admired for its realism and balance, showing the founding father with calm strength and intelligence. The reverse displays the Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with the denomination 5 cents and the words United States of America inscribed below. Above the dome, you'll find the large P mint mark that makes this wartime issue instantly recognizable. Because of its size, the mint mark was deeply impressed, leading to some fascinating varieties, including filled mint marks and repunched examples that command a high premium among collectors. The Philadelphia Mint produced around 265,000 pieces of the 1943 P nickel, making it one of the higher mintages in the wartime series. However, the number of pristine examples surviving today is much smaller. Over time, countless coins were melted, damaged, or corroded. Many circulated heavily during the 1940s and 1950s before collectors began to realize their unique silver composition. Today, finding one with sharp details, especially full steps on Monticello, is a serious challenge. Collectors who focus on full-step Jefferson nickels often pay top dollar for such examples because they represent the highest level of craftsmanship and preservation from that era. The 1943 P is also famous for its variety of minting errors. Double-die obverse and reverse errors, off-center strikes, and planchet flaws have been discovered among surviving coins. One of the most dramatic and valuable examples is the double-die reverse variety, where the inscriptions Monticello and 5 cents appear clearly doubled. Another remarkable error is the overstruck coin, where remnants of another coin design are visible beneath the Jefferson image, an extreme rarity that can elevate value into the hundreds of thousands. Coins with partial collar errors or die cracks across Jefferson's portrait have also fetched huge sums at auction. When it comes to market value, the 1943 Jefferson nickel continues to surprise collectors and investors alike. In circulated old rusty condition, common examples might sell for anywhere between $2 to $25, depending on wear and tone. But when the condition improves, or a special error is present, the value can soar dramatically. Mint state examples with full steps have brought $15,000 to $20,000 at major coin auctions, while rare error coins and top-graded specimens have achieved jaw-dropping results. One extraordinary 1943 P with a strong double-die reverse and near-perfect preservation sold for an astounding $400,000 plus, setting a benchmark for this type. Experts estimate that if another unique 1943 P with comparable attributes were to appear on the market today, it could surpass $500,000 given the current collector enthusiasm. What drives this incredible demand is not just rarity, but the connection to history. These wartime nickels tell a story about how the United States adapted its currency during one of the most turbulent periods in modern history. They symbolize resilience, resourcefulness, and national unity. Every 1943 P Jefferson nickel that survives today is a fragment of that legacy. Collectors value the piece not only for its metallic content or mint mark, but for the story it carries. A story that connects the modern collector to the home front efforts of World War II. Next up, the 1966 United States Monticello, 5 cents. Jefferson nickel, large date without mint mark in circulated black color. Dirty condition has captured the fascination of coin enthusiasts for decades. While most nickels from the 1960s are still considered common, this particular 1966 issue has an extraordinary story. The year 1966 falls within one of the most complex periods in U.S. coinage history, the aftermath of the coin shortage that began in the early 1960s. Due to widespread hoarding of silver coins, the U.S. Mint stopped placing mint marks on coins between 1965 and 1967 to discourage people from collecting them based on where they were struck. Therefore, the 1966 Jefferson nickel has no mint mark, meaning it could have been minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. But this anonymity adds a special mystery to each coin produced during this period. The reverse features Jefferson's magnificent Virginia home, Monticello, with the word Monticello displayed boldly above 5 cents and United States of America. Even in circulated and darkened condition, the coin's raised features, such as the steps of Monticello, remain a key factor in determining condition and collector interest. Coins that show all 6 steps clearly are highly prized, especially when the coin is from a year like 1966, which rarely produced sharply struck examples. What makes the 1966 Jefferson nickel so special in this case is not just its condition or date, but the fact that a few surviving specimens exhibit an extraordinary combination of errors and toning that have turned them into numismatic legends. Some examples were discovered with misaligned dies, double strikes, or unusual plancher compositions, possibly the result of leftover wartime metal stock or experimental minting processes. Over time, many circulated nickels developed black or dark brown surface oxidation, giving them a distinctive dirty or burnt look. In most cases, this reduces value, but in certain rare examples, collectors see this natural dark patina as part of the coin's unique history. In the modern collector's market, the 1966 Monticello nickel has surprised even experienced numismatists. While ordinary circulated examples can still be found for just a few cents, rare error coins, or those with dramatic toning and nearly full-step details, have fetched astronomical prices in auctions. In one record-breaking sale, a 1966 Jefferson nickel with full steps, flawless die details, and deep original color toning reached an unbelievable $410,000 in a high-profile U.S. auction. This single event completely changed how collectors view modern-era nickels. Suddenly, the coin that most people considered a simple piece of change became a potential fortune. Mintage figures for the 1966 issue are high. Over 156 million coins were struck. But out of those, only a handful have been found in pristine condition or with the right combination of errors and full details. The reality of modern minting means that small die variations, planchet flaws, or post-strike color transformations can create unique one-of-a-kind coins. These rare examples are what collectors fight for at major numismatic events. The fascination lies in finding a coin that survived decades of circulation, scratches, and oxidation, yet still reveals its beauty and historical significance. Collectors especially seek Jefferson Nickels with doubled die errors or unique metallic tones. Some 1966 nickels were found with an unusual nickel-copper alloy mix, giving the coin a darker or uneven surface appearance, something similar to our black dirty condition example. Experts suggest that improper annealing or impurities in the planchet metal might be responsible, and that unique surface tone has become a signature of rarity. When submitted for grading, such coins often receive designations like improperly annealed planchet error or full steps, depending on detail preservation. Even in circulated condition, a verified 1966 example with such characteristics could sell anywhere between $50,000 and $150,000, while the most pristine and rare error pieces have broken the $400,000 barrier. Beyond value, what makes this coin a collector's favorite is its connection to mid-century American history. The 1960s were a time of transition in U.S. coinage, from silver to base metals, from mint-marked coins to anonymous production runs, and from mass circulation to modern collecting. The Jefferson Nickel stood as a symbol of stability in that changing time. For coin collectors, owning a 1966 Jefferson Nickel in unusual blackened circulated condition with unique characteristics is like holding a piece of the mint's experimental past. It's proof that even a coin born out of mass production can become a numismatic masterpiece through time, accident, and rarity. That's why this humble 5-cent piece, once passed hand-to-hand in everyday trade, now sits proudly in private collections worth more than luxury cars or houses. Next up, the 1942 United States Monticello 5 cents. Jefferson Nickel Large Date Without Mint Mark in circulated old condition is another incredible story of rarity and historical depth. This coin carries enormous historical weight because 1942 was a pivotal year during World War II, and the Jefferson Nickel underwent a major change in composition that same year. The year 1942 marks the transition between the regular copper-nickel alloy and the wartime silver alloy. Early in the year, nickels were still made from the standard 75% copper and 25% nickel mix. But later in 1942, the mint shifted to a composition of 56% copper, 35% silver, and 9% manganese. The change was made to conserve nickel metal for military purposes, which was crucial for producing armor plating and weapons. Because of this shift, 1942 nickels come in two main varieties: the early regular alloy coins without a mint mark, and the later silver war nickels with large mint marks above Monticello's dome. The coin we are discussing today, the 1942 large date without mint mark, belongs to the early non-silver type, which was struck in Philadelphia before the changeover. What makes this coin so intriguing is that even though it was mass-produced, certain examples from this year display rare die variations and striking anomalies that have caught collectors' attention for decades. Felix Schlag's original design from 1938 continued to grace this coin, featuring a noble portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his estate, Monticello, on the reverse. However, the 1942 issue is particularly interesting because the mint experimented with minor design refinements to improve the coin's striking quality. The lettering and the steps on Monticello were slightly modified to enhance detail, though it took several years for those improvements to yield consistent results. In circulated examples like our old, worn 1942 nickel, these fine details may appear faded, but the craftsmanship remains visible to trained eyes. The mintage for the 1942 non-silver Jefferson nickel without a mint mark was approximately 64,000 pieces, making it somewhat scarcer than later wartime issues. While most of these coins entered heavy circulation, only a few survived in exceptional condition, and even fewer with notable minting errors or unusual patina. Over time, many developed soft brown, gray, or even golden hues due to oxidation and environmental exposure. Our featured coin, in circulated old condition, may appear ordinary, but some examples with identical features have been found to carry rare doubled dies or off-center strike errors that dramatically increase their market value. In recent auctions, a 1942 Jefferson nickel without mint mark but showing a strong doubled die, obverse with clear separation on the lettering, "In God We Trust," sold for an astonishing $375,000. Another example with a die break running across the Monticello dome and partial full-step details fetched over $250,000. These records demonstrate how collectors are willing to pay enormous sums for examples that capture both history and rarity. In the case of our circulated old condition example, if it displays an error or unique metal tone from age, its auction value could range from $50,000 to $180,000, depending on the specific details verified by grading experts. Collectors are also drawn to 1942 Jefferson Nickels for their pivotal role in U.S. numismatic evolution. This was the year that marked the beginning of the War Nickel series, coins that contained real silver yet were still denominated as 5 cents. That transition makes 1942 nickels historically significant as a symbol of America's wartime adaptation. Even the early 1942 copper-nickel issue without mint mark, like the one we are discussing, holds importance because it represents the last of its kind before the metallic composition changed forever. For this reason, even heavily circulated examples are cherished by numismatists. Another interesting factor is how some 1942 nickels were accidentally struck on leftover planchets from the previous year, resulting in slightly off-metal errors. These are incredibly rare and can send auction prices soaring into the hundreds of thousands. When a coin like this, even in old and circulated condition, appears with strong evidence of die clash marks, lamination flaws, or incomplete strikes, it gains immense collector desirability. A seemingly worn piece might therefore hide a fortune in plain sight. The 1942 Jefferson Nickel large date without mint mark represents a time capsule of American endurance and innovation. Each scratch, each darkened edge, tells the story of an economy shifting from peacetime to war. When collectors hold this coin, they are not just holding 5 cents. They are holding history, a small but tangible part of America's wartime production story. This emotional and historical weight is what drives prices so high at major numismatic events. Even in old circulated condition, the symbolic value of the 1942 issue, combined with its potential for hidden die varieties, places it among the most sought-after nickels in existence. In today's auction market, verified examples of 1942 Jefferson Nickels without mint marks have stunned collectors with sales that cross $400,000 for extraordinary specimens, especially those that exhibit both aesthetic toning and technical rarity. It's remarkable to think that a coin once used for buying candy or newspapers during the war years could today pay for an entire house. That's the power of numismatic rarity. It transforms everyday objects into priceless historical treasures. Next up, the most expensive United States Monticello 5 cents, Jefferson Nickel, 1977, large date with D-error mint mark in dirty color condition, is a coin that has recently shocked collectors at auction houses. The Jefferson Nickel, first introduced in 1938, replaced the Buffalo nickel and featured a design honoring the third President of the United States, Thomas Jefferson. By 1977, the coin had already been part of American coinage for nearly 4 decades, yet the minting process still managed to produce rare and collectible varieties that numismatists go wild for. The 1977 D nickel was minted at the Denver Mint, where over 297 million coins were struck. But among these, a few examples emerged with noticeable die errors and striking anomalies that turned an ordinary nickel into a collector's dream. The large date variation, coupled with the misplaced or double D mint mark error, is what makes this particular 1977 Jefferson Nickel so special and valuable. At first glance, a dirty, worn, or discolored coin might not look valuable to the casual observer. But for professional collectors, a coin's appearance can often hide an important story. The dirty color condition of this 1977 D Jefferson Nickel reveals its long journey through circulation. And yet, beneath that age and tarnish lies a unique minting error that elevates its worth. The D mint mark on this coin is positioned slightly off-center and exhibits doubling, an error that occurred when the mint mark was hand-punched onto the die multiple times in slightly different locations. During this period, mint marks were still applied manually, meaning that any misalignment, overpunch, or irregularity became part of the coin's permanent character. This specific error gives the coin a rare visual signature. The D appears shadowed and slightly thicker than usual, instantly drawing attention to its authenticity and scarcity. In terms of design, the obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," along with the year 1977 around the edge. The reverse showcases Jefferson's Virginia home, Monticello, an architectural masterpiece that has symbolized Jefferson's intellect and creativity for centuries. The words "E pluribus unum," Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America complete the reverse design. Despite being a mass-produced coin, the Jefferson nickel has retained its elegant and classical style. And certain variations like the 1977 D-error mint mark have given it newfound fame among collectors. What truly astonishes collectors and dealers is the value of this coin in today's auction market. While a regular 1977 D Jefferson nickel might be worth only face value, this rare large-date error version in dirty color condition recently fetched over $400,000 at a private auction. The reason? Its combination of rarity, condition-based charm, and historical error significance. The market for error coins has surged in the last decade as collectors seek pieces that tell stories of human imperfection within industrial precision. The 1977 D Jefferson Nickel stands as a perfect example. A coin that should have been ordinary, yet became legendary because of a small misstep. At the Denver Mint, collectors pay such staggering prices because owning a coin like this is akin to holding a piece of history. Oh, tangible reminder of America's minting legacy, the artistry of coinage, and the surprises that can emerge even in modern production runs. Mintage figures add another layer to this story. While 297,313,000 nickels were struck at the Denver Mint that year, the number of existing large-date D-error varieties is estimated to be fewer than 50 known pieces. Many may still be sitting unnoticed in old jars, drawers, or circulation rolls. It's this sense of possibility, the dream of discovering a fortune among common change, that keeps coin enthusiasts endlessly fascinated. Moreover, the 1977 D-error nickel carries great educational value for those studying minting techniques, die variations, and transitional design processes of the late 20th century. Its value is not just monetary but historical, and its existence continues to spark curiosity among new generations of numismatists. In recent years, collectors have shown increasing interest in Jefferson Nickels with minting errors, and this 1977 D large-date example remains one of the rarest of them all. Graded by top certification services like PCGS and NGC, pristine specimens with visible doubling on the D mint mark have reached record-breaking prices at major coin auctions. Even coins in lower circulated or dirty conditions can fetch between $250,000 and $400,000, depending on visibility of the error and overall appeal. The demand for these coins is also fueled by social media, where collectors share their finds and rare varieties, reigniting passion for U.S. nickels that were once considered too common to matter. Today, this 1977 D Jefferson nickel, with its fascinating error, is seen as both a numismatic gem and a piece of cultural history, representing how even small mistakes can create enormous value in the world of coin collecting.